It's interesting when we talk about the power of thought as a universal constant in our life, that power which is enabling us to experience life moment by moment by moment, and is actually giving us the exact flavour of experience that we're having, and doing it so seamlessly that it looks as though that experience is being caused by other things. It looks as though it's coming from somewhere else, whereas in fact it's just the power of thought. That's easy to prove to yourself, actually. This is the amazing thing, is when you start to see it, one of the common reactions is that you're kind of stunned that you could have missed it before, and that you can miss it again, even having seen it so clearly. But take the example of if you're anticipating some event coming up, maybe it's an examination or a driving test or something of this kind, or you have to give a talk, public speech somewhere, and you find yourself feeling very anxious and nervous. Yeah, some people would even start to panic. And if anybody asks you at that moment, well, what are you frightened of? You would immediately point to the future event that's not yet happening. So you'd say, well, it's because I've got this examination coming up, and I don't feel adequately prepared, or it's because I'm taking my driving test next week or tomorrow. So we'll point to the event, even though the event's not actually happening. In real time, it's not happening. In that moment that you're feeling anxious, it's only happening in your own head. So you're having a bunch of thoughts about it, and the feeling that you're having is giving you immediate and ongoing feedback about what kind of thoughts you're having. And that's how it works. That's what the three principles shows to us, that the experience we're having is not connected to events or circumstances or anything else but our own thinking. It's just the same if we go back in time as if we go forward in time. So if you remember something from your past and you start to feel sad or upset or angry, and someone asks you why, you say, well, it's because of how that person treated me when I was a child, or 5 years ago, or whenever it happened to be. And we miss the obvious fact, which is that that which happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or even 2 minutes ago cannot possibly be creating the feelings that you're experiencing now. There's no there's no support for that argument. There's no basis for it. There's no way you could ever prove that, because it's simply not true. What is true is that the thoughts that you're having now are giving you the feelings now. So if you look back in anger, you'll feel angry. But we forget that we can look back at the same event. We can conjure up a memory which we've conjured up 100 times, but on this occasion we could see it differently. That can always happen to any of us, and in fact it has happened to all of us many times, is that we've looked back at something and we thought, you know what, it wasn't so bad. Or we've discovered another piece of information that we didn't know, and suddenly we feel differently. But the same thing still happened. And in that sense, the past didn't change. It cannot change. But our present time experience of it can change 180 degrees. The reason being that the present time experience is not coming from anywhere in the past. It's coming from our present moment thought. And that can always change for all of us. So it's often the case that the things that, when they happen, we consider them to be disastrous. What we call the wisdom of hindsight. When we look back 5 years hence, we often conclude, well, you know, maybe that was a good thing that happened. Maybe it's a good thing that I lost that job, because it gave me the kick in the pants that I needed to go off and do what I always wanted to do. Maybe it's a good thing that I got sick at that time in my life, because it kind of stopped me, it gave me pause for thought, and it led me to a whole different life path. I've heard that many times from many different people, and we don't see how powerful that is. That, because what it's revealing, when you understand that, what it's revealing is that the experience we're having is always coming from our thinking, and that's how our experience can change without anything else needing to change. And that's what these principles are nudging us to see, is that we are the originators of our own life experience. And at the same time, the very source of that life experience is something beyond that which we are as an individual.